Eagles quarterback Jalen Hurts has been playing out of his mind to start the 2022 NFL season. And it's really got me thinking, why can't more NFL quarterbacks be like Jalen Hurts? And I'm not talking about, they should be able to throw like him or run like him. And I'm not saying Jalen Hurts is a top 5 quarterback or anything crazy right now. No, it's not like that. It's more, why can't more NFL quarterbacks be like Jalen Hurts and work their absolute ass off to get to where they want to be and take actionable steps towards improving real finite weaknesses in their game? I mean, seriously, every step along Jalen Hurts' career, going back to his time at Alabama, where I will hold, he was effectively a running back playing quarterback way back when he won a national championship at Alabama. Every step since then, he has taken noticeable steps forward by developing holes in his game. When he got to Oklahoma, he improved his mechanics and accuracy to the point where he became a real NFL quarterback prospect. Within his first year as a starter, he went from being perceived as a backup caliber guy to an actual real starting caliber quarterback. And so far in 2022, Hurts looks to be doing more of the same based on the tape and the stats, and seems like he's taken a hard look at some of his flaws and strongly improved upon them to the point where he might be a good starter, a top 16 starter, and beyond. And it isn't just about playing more and putting up stats that leads to this added perception of Jalen Hurts. I mean, shit, Jalen Hurts was like a top 5 fantasy quarterback in 2021. So we're not talking about raw stats here. No, I will hold up that even though Hurts impressed in his development early in his career to the point where he became a starting caliber guy last year, there were still major, legitimate concerns about his game that led myself, along with most NFL minds, to believe that he would eventually prove to be, well, not the guy. Among those concerns were plenty of examples on tape of him bailing from clean pockets, which left meat on the bones of the play call, holding on to the football too long, failing to read defenses at a pro level, and turning the ball over at, frankly, an unacceptable rate. And anyone that has followed the game for an extended period of time, well, history usually tells us that these are the types of issues that most quarterbacks aren't able to work on, develop upon, and ultimately overcome. But Jalen Hurts isn't most quarterbacks. And the first area of improvement from Jalen Hurts that has stood out to me is how much more comfortable he is playing on schedule within the rhythm of the offense and not holding on to the ball too long. This is something Hurts has struggled with. In both of his first 2 seasons in the NFL, Jalen Hurts finished dead last in the NFL in time to throw. And while headhunting for the big play is a big part of what makes Hurts so special, passing from the pocket and playing within the structure of the offense is a requirement for any great NFL quarterback. And so far in 2022, both the tape and the stats show us that Hurts is getting the ball out quicker. He's climbed to 27th in the NFL, no longer last, reducing his time to throw down to 3.03 seconds, whereas it was 3.17 seconds last year and a whopping 3.38 the year before. Again, both those 3.17 and 3.38 numbers were worst in the league, and the league average, to put that in perspective, is 2.8 seconds. Hurts, more than ever, is standing tall in the pocket. He's executing a legitimate passing game unlike he's really shown in years past. He's not just throwing with accuracy, but he's letting routes develop down the field, whereas in years past, he would look off those routes or start scrambling before some of these deeper routes could develop. And beyond that, he's even shown an added ability to throw with anticipation on comebackers and outbreakers that I can confidently say he was not making those types of throws before the anticipation throws. His understanding of the offense has clearly taken to a new level here in 2022. We're seeing a more poised, confident passer in Jalen Hurts. We're seeing a Jalen Hurts that, if it continues, teams are going to start to fear him from the pocket. And if you look back at his tape from last year, that just wasn't the case. The Bucks, for example, in his last game of 2021 in the playoffs, dared Jalen Hurts to beat them with his arm, and he just couldn't do it. Throw after throw, drop back after drop back. Hurts looked uncomfortable scanning the field. He bailed from clean pockets and failed to see receivers come open. He straight up made poor reads and looked like a quarterback that was going to be more of an issue for the Eagles' future, or at least a question mark, rather than how we sit here today feeling like he's going to be an asset for the Eagles moving forward. I mentioned that Hurts has also began throwing balls with anticipation, and it's these high difficulty comebacking routes, outbreaking routes that he's been connecting on here in 2022 that he just straight up didn't really make in years past. And I think it's just a true testament to his work ethic, because not only are these routes, these comebacks and deep outs, often difficult to read out on the field and make good decisions when throwing these routes, but they're also throws that require a high level of timing and precision that are only made possible by staying late after practice or finding extra time wherever, whenever, with his receivers to get on the same page. And he clearly is in sync with A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith towards the sideline this year, which is more than the majority of NFL QBs can say about their own passing games through the first 2 weeks of the season. We've seen some ugly play out there. And the tape obviously looks good here, but Hurts is seeing massive returns from all of this improved ability to pass from the pocket on the stat sheet as well. Granted, it's only been 2 weeks of evidence. He does need to continue playing like this, but by playing more in structure and getting the ball out, Hurts' average depth of target has actually reduced by about 2 yards, down to 7.4 yards this year from 9.5 yards in 2021. But this acts as a great reminder as to why it's so important to play in structure, as his yards per attempt has actually risen by a full 2 yards per attempt, despite the average depth of target being down 2 yards. His passing yards per game has skyrocketed from 212 yards in 2021 to already 288 yards per game through these 2 games in 2022. His QB rating has jumped over 13 points from 84.7 to 97.1. And his PFF passing grade, whatever stock you want to put in that, it's impressive, jumping from 69.2 to 90.8, currently leading the NFL. The returns from his development are obvious and speak for themselves. Before we go any further, let me tell you about my friends at SeatGeek. Whenever I'm going to sporting events, I buy my tickets on SeatGeek. It is, in my opinion, the #1 ticketing app out there, and I've tried them all. You consistently find the best prices there. They have a great user interface that'll help you find exactly where you want to sit. And if you're going last moment, you'll get your tickets on the app within moments of your order. And now, by using promo code FranchiseGuy, you'll even save $20 on your first purchase. So if you plan on going to any sporting events or concerts, it's a no-brainer. You're already going to get the best prices there anyway. You'll save $20 on that price, and you'll support my channel in the process. So that's promo code FranchiseGuy on SeatGeek, and let's get back to it. And what's amazing is that this doesn't seem to be the only area of his game that seems massively improved. Last year, Jalen Hurts was 5th in the NFL in turnover-worthy play percentage. This is one of the most underrated and best metrics that PFF produces because, for example, take Jalen Hurts' interception against the Vikings on a dropped screen pass that ultimately got intercepted. You'll look at the box score and see an interception, but PFF is able to separate what actually happened on the field from the box score. But anyway, Jalen Hurts has taken this to heart and taken perfect care of the football so far in 2022. He actually has 0 turnover-worthy plays through his first 2 games. And I don't think this is a fluke. I find this possible for a variety of reasons. First of which has almost everything to do with what we already talked about in his improved execution from the pocket. We haven't seen the poor reads or mindless heaves into traffic that showed up on his 2021 tape relatively consistently. He seems so much more comfortable reading what is open and what isn't, and it's been reflected in his decision making. But he also seems to have made a conscious effort to avoid these costly mistakes when he's forced to play off schedule and outside of the rhythm of the offense. We've seen Hurts several times this season throw the ball in the dirt, eating a throwaway with the confidence to live another day. Last year, Hurts also put the ball on the turf a whopping 10 times last season. So I do believe he is, in general, making a concerted effort towards protecting the football, and you can't argue with the results. And while Hurts still has a ways to go before we begin the top 10 quarterback conversation, and I still think when it comes to progressing to his second read and pocket presence, there's still things that he can prove out before that conversation begins. But regardless, the fact that we're here now and he feels like a good starting quarterback, it's all a massive testament to his hard work. And in a league where we're still watching Jameis Winston throw games away, literally last week, Drew Lock lost a quarterback competition to Geno Smith. You got Josh Rosen just hanging out on the Browns practice squad after being a top 10 pick several years ago. These are just a few names among countless other talented quarterbacks who simply don't show the same work ethic and ability to make actionable, calculated steps to improve the specific holes in their games that hold some of these guys back. And sure, there's some examples of guys doing what Jalen Hurts has done, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, and perhaps it is becoming a little bit more of a norm compared to the history of the game, where honestly it just hasn't happened too often. Guys getting noticeably better in year 3 of their career. But whatever the case may be, Jalen Hurts is still an outlier in the amount of work that he has put into his craft. And not only is it fun to watch, but it serves as a great reminder that no matter what field you're in, if you put your head down and work your ass off, more often than not, the cream rises to the top. Thank you for watching this film room about Jalen Hurts. If you enjoyed the video, do make sure you hit that like button. Also, please subscribe so you don't miss more football content just around the corner. Also, you can check out my podcast, the Fully Inflated Football Podcast. There's a channel up here on YouTube. That link is in the description below, or you can find it wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you later.